Well, I think there are many. We look at the health status of across the country right now. Whichever part of the country you go to, you can find that over relatively short geographical distances there are very significant inequalities in health and very significant differences in life expectancy. And I think that that's the big challenge that for the NHS, many other parts of the public sector, for society to get to grips with and deal with. And within that, and to contribute to dealing with that, we have to continually raise the quality of services for patients. That's about their experience as well as the clinical care that they receive. We have to always, in this economic environment, seek greater efficiencies and productivity, and we see quality and productivity in that way being very much hand in hand. A better quality service, a better experience for patients is always delivered in a very efficient way. So the challenges for us looking forward are huge. I think that the NHS, if we think of NHS expenditure, well over half of the money we spend is in the staff that we employ. And a wide range of people, clearly the doctors and nurses, the clinical staff are there, the areas in which people work to make hospitals and other facilities run efficiently and effectively. So the NHS is its staff. And I think the staff, the compassion that they have, the commitment that they show, the professionalism that they exhibit every day working in public service is what the NHS is all about. Well, it's very interesting that you asked that, and we're now nearly 12 months on since the last general election, of course, and the NHS is a marvellous institution in this country. It's an industry rather than an organisation in that sense, but it's very operating in a highly charged political environment as well. So the strategy is driven by the politics. We saw the coalition government come in May, within a relatively short period of time, a white paper setting out the government's vision for the future. And it's then the job of everybody rowing in behind that white paper to think about our strategy and plans going forward, to think about how we develop the proposals to make them work, to make sure we have input from our staff into all of that. But at the very start, strategy is about the government and where it wants to go with public service and with health. I think that one of the great things I've learnt working in government is the time frame that drives everybody is when we think the next election's going to be and what's going to happen between now and then. And certainly the bill that's going through Parliament now has got much more than a term of Parliament's work to get to grips with it and take it forward. Absolutely. Internationally, the comparisons, we're a service that's focusing increasingly on the clinical outcomes for patients. We are data rich in that sense. We don't always use the data that we have as effectively as we can, but benchmarking and comparisons with other health systems in the world, comparing parts of the NHS here against other parts of the NHS is crucially important in driving up performance. Where it doesn't work sometimes is when, having seen comparators that we think we're not as favourable to us as we would like them to be, we start arguing about the data rather than doing something about it. But overall, benchmarking and that process of comparison is a really important driver in improving services. Well, it's a very tough question to answer. I think that I've worked in the NHS now over 20 years, and when I started, I would never have imagined I'm doing what I'm doing now, but could never have imagined. So you can't forecast and predict the technological advancement in the way. We can project changes in demographies, in demands on the service, but the technological advancement and the rate of that is fantastic. New drugs and therapies coming onto the market, and that will continue at even greater pace going forward. There's a lot of things that I worry about. I think that it comes with experience in some ways. Over the years I've learned there's little point in worrying about things I can't do anything about. But there are lots of things that we do something about, the services. I worry that there's something not quite right going on out there that we haven't spotted and haven't put right. So you worry about the things that you don't know in that sense, and that's what drives me every day, really, to get to grips with those things. I think that there are many attributes, and in my time in the NHS place, I've worked with some fantastic individuals who are great leaders. And at its most fundamental definition, leadership, you're only a leader if people follow you. When you're there as a leader and you say to your people, we're now going to go from over here to over there, if they come with you, you're doing something right. And I think it's that being able to give the compelling vision about where we're going, what we're trying to do, to be able to clarify exactly what we need to do within quite often a very complex context and environment. We need to simplify that, we need to spell out where we're going, and most importantly in leadership, I think, is that the people who you're leading see the values that drive you, whether they be the values of public service, whatever, that they can identify with. They see you behave and act consistent with those values at all times in an uncompromising way. I think if you do that, then you've got a good chance. One of the things that I think, in terms of our expectations of managers and leaders, that's changing now and will continue to change, is we've worked in a way sometimes in the past in which your sole responsibilities have been for the bit of the system that you run. So you could succeed by running a successful organisation, even if those who commission services from you or you commission from neighbouring organisations which come together in providing clinical services. It didn't matter if they succeeded or not. If you did, that was good enough. That won't do anymore. We need more than just running your own bit successfully. We need you to contribute to how the broader system in supporting patients' needs, in improving services for patients across health and social care, across different parts of the NHS work. And our demands of leaders and managers in the future will be to be able to work in that way. I've been very fortunate in being in the right place at the right time when opportunities have come up. And twice in the National Health Service, I've been appointed Chief Executive with responsibility for setting up a new organisation, a new body. And to have that twice in my career I've been very lucky, because it's the most fantastic opportunity. It's great when you're the only one there, you don't have to consult with anybody and all that type of thing, you get on and do it. But you choose the people, you define the way you want that organisation to be, you set the tone of how it is, how it's going to work with stakeholders, with partner organisations, how you effect relationships, how you set out the expectations for the people that you want to recruit, how you persuade them to come and join in. All of that's brilliant, and I've learnt so much from doing those things that it's been great. I think we make very significant demands of folks, that we've so many members, non-executive members of boards who give time to contribute to running the NHS in one way or another. And you can't come along and do those things without responsibility. You can't come along and just express opinions on behalf of a group of people you represent. The accountability is really clear, and I think that for people in the boardroom to take on that accountability, responsibility, to draw on their experience from other sectors, to contribute in discussions to make sure that we take things forward in the right way, brings a great richness to the NHS. And a board with a dynamic mix of non-executive and executives, with people from different backgrounds and different perspectives on life, can really make fantastic progress.